Oh, says live.
Okay, now we're live, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize to our viewers for logging in late. We ran into some technical difficulties, but all is well. And I apologize for the lag time with the weather we're having here in North Carolina. There is some lag time um, in our broadband. But what I want to go ahead and do is welcome our panel, and I'll go ahead and introduce everybody. I think the first person on the screen looks like Candace. So, Candace Jones is a natural hair enthusiast and owner of Natural Hair Caroline God's Goodies. And second, we have Desiree Cross. Um, Desiree is the creator of Media Whistle. And our other panelist is Nicole Daniels, who is a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Founder of Family First Psychotherapy Services. So, what I want to do is welcome our panel today. And what we're going to do, we're going to ask each person a series of questions relating to natural hair and recent events that have occurred with women with natural hair who's been challenged because of their hair, whether it's been at the workplace or at school or um, just wherever. So we're gonna have a conversation about that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start with our first question. I guess we'll go in order everybody's is on the screen. Oh, and also I want to invite our guests to share this live event with your network. And we ask that if you tweet or comment on social media about the event this evening, please use the hashtag JustHair, JustHair, and AG Naturals, AG Naturals, Naturals. And so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, I have a
And let
question.
me, okay, go ahead.
How do I share this? Can I share this exact live setting that we're in now with my networks, or is there like a share button, or is it like I don't know? I'm not supposed to
It
be
should
savvy.
be it should be a share button on your Google Plus um, profile. So you should have a share button on your Google Plus profile to share the event. Our viewers will be able to share directly from my YouTube channel. It should be in the upper right hand corner, and you can say share this live. It says share this live broadcast. So, and it looks like,
Okay.
okay. So that's how you should be able to share. And ladies, any more questions before we go ahead and get started with the conversation from you guys? Everybody good? Okay. Um, our first question to our panel is, do you feel like there's a new Black Pride movement taking place alongside the natural hair movement? And we'll start with Candace.
Yes, I definitely believe that there is a new Black Bride movement. I think that is awesome. I think that history always does repeat itself, and I think that's kind of what we're experiencing at this point. I think that just being aware is a big thing, and Bless you. Back years ago when there was a Black Power movement, there was a movement for people to, there was injustices and things like that, which is kind of what we're experiencing now. So I just think that it's coming around full circle, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I think that Black people need to love themselves and not continue to love these other images that we continue to see and think that it's beautiful, because it's not.
Okay.
Um,
Desiree? Were you finished, Candace? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I got a little bit thrown off. I do have a coworker in here. I apologize. I said something so wrong. I want to admit that last statement. Everybody is beautiful. I don't want to say because you're not Black that you're not beautiful, but I think that we've been desensitized into loving ourselves, and that kind of was the goal. And I think that, just the awareness of how beautiful we are and seeing the images and knowing that we're good people, we're beautiful, I think it's a good thing. I think we're on the right. Okay, I digress.
Okay. Desiree? Can you hear me,
Hello?
Desiree?
Yes.
Hey, Desiree, can you hear me? Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You need me to repeat the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay. The question is, do you feel like there's a new Black Pride movement taking place alongside the natural hair movement?
Um, yeah, I would say so, just because of all the paraphernalia that you can get with like natural hair stuff on it, like the afro. You have the afro pick earrings, the afro earrings. So I would say that there's a pride movement alongside a Black Pride movement, and also I would want to say that it has become commercialized, and that's how you can really tell that it's a movement because of that.
Okay, thank you, Desiree. Nicole?
Um, I do think that with the change in hair, people feel more comfortable expressing themselves through, their culture. Now, because of their hair, they don't have to, because of the freedom with the hair, um, I think that people are a little more apt to share cultural things and be a little more open about their culture, since the hair seems to have been, or is a little more accepted now. Um, I think whenever we, as a community, make changes, especially with something like our hair, um, it's seen, it's commercialized, it's promoted, and I think that that really helps people feel more confident about who they are and what their looks are. So I would agree that, it does appear to be more of a Black Pride um, resurgence.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for your responses. Once again, if anybody is just now joining us, I apologize for the delay in starting the event. We had some technical difficulties, and I apologize for the lag time, the live feed, but we're having some issues. I'm having issues with my Wi-Fi due to the weather we have here in North Carolina. We've had some snow, a lot of snow, and I know Candace and Nicole has experienced some snow as well in their areas. But what I want to ask everybody to do is use the hashtags just hair and AG naturals, please, if you're tweeting or sharing about the event. So let's go on to our next question. Towards the end of 2015, there were numerous stories attempting to restrict natural hair. Why do you think anyone would even care how someone choose to style their hair? And we'll start with you, Candace.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm like,
Yes.
oh no, I got the
Yeah, I
mute
can
on.
hear
Okay,
you.
I apologize. I think
Okay.
that they are trying to restrict natural hair. I think that it's strength, it's power. Again, when you start to love yourself, self-love is a platform for self-pride. And I think that, of course, they don't want us to love ourselves. I think that we are a pretty sophisticated race, regardless of what they try to say. And I think that the more that we love ourselves or are able to show that, yeah, we can, be our natural selves and still be successful, I think that that's intimidating to other races because we are the number one race. We've been on the earth the longest, and I think that again they're just trying to desensitize us and restrict it. But I think that they got a long way to go. I think that we'll be here for a long.
Okay. Desiree?
Um, Coming from a journalism background, I know that appearance, like you, not only are you selling your talent, but you're also selling your appearance. Like that's a big part of your job, especially with broadcast. And so there is an image that a company wants to perpetuate. There is an image that a news outlet wants to perpetuate. And if you don't fall into what that image is, then you can't be discriminated against. And I've had several friends um, who have had to straighten their hair to be um, a reporter or to be on air because that's what you see on TV. Like you don't see a lot of reporters with big hair. Um, so that's my input.
Okay. Nicole?
And just to kind of reframe, you were saying that the question is, why would someone want to restrict natural hair?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I agree with what has been said for the most part. I think that mainstream America looks for a certain image, especially with TV, media. There's a certain image that mainstream America is looking for, and that also goes in movies. So yes, I think they would like to restrict not just your hair, but other things about you as well. Um, Desiree spoke about, some of her colleagues or friends having to straighten their hair. Well, a lot of people of color probably feel that they have to do more than that. They have to wear certain clothing, maybe even get nose jobs to fit the appearance that America's looking for. And so I would say yes, that they would like to restrict it because um, America doesn't make money off of a lot of the cultural images unless unless it's something that's being portrayed specifically for that image. Other than that, America's looking for a certain type of image. And once we start talking about money and promoting and selling, and then yes, we would probably be very restricted, and we are.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. And I don't know, I sent you guys links to articles where people have been restricted, especially young people. And also to our audience, I open up the Q&A so you guys can submit questions that you may have about the conversation that we're having. So feel free to go ahead and type your comments because I see that we do have some viewers online viewing. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to type those in. And if you have questions, we'll try to address them before we end. But going back to what I was saying, my biggest concern personally is that two of the articles that I posted in the event page were referencing young teens, young girls, being challenged by their school because of their natural hair. What kind of impact, and I know this is one of the questions that I did not present to you guys, but what kind of impact do you think it can, or effect do you think it can have on our children, our young people, when how their hair grows out of their head is not accepted by our society, or those standards aren't considered proper? And I'll start with Candace.
Yes. I think that them not allowing the kids to do what they really want to do with their hair, I think that is, I think it's awful. I think that they, as kids, it's a lifestyle, as we all know. It's, you know, it's not just as easy as everything else is that they have on the market to try to uh, make our hair look European, if you will. I think it's awful, and I just think that it could be detrimental to kids because as a kid, you know, just being a parent, you want to encourage your kid and give them positive things to move on. They're the fruits of our labor, and I feel like that's studying their growth with their Black history, just with themselves and their self-love. If they're not able to express themselves in their natural fashion, and I think that might cause some problems down the line. If they are to wear something, you know, a style that, you know, may not be accepted by the school, I think that, you know, they may be bullied, they may be talked about, they may be the butt of jokes, of social media things. I think it's absolutely awful. I hope I answered all the parts, but all I could think about was the cheerleaders and, you know, just how the kids are affected with this. Was that all the questions you asked?
Yeah, you did good. Thank you, Candace. You did good.
Yeah.
Okay, Desiree. What are your thoughts, Desiree?
I think it's really important to teach. I think Candace touched on this a little bit, but just to teach your kids self-love and to teach them to be proud and who they are and how their hair grows, and to teach them how to approach situations like that is really important as well. I think it's sad, like in this era at this time, that you have to teach your kids how to interact with the police, how to interact with people when they come at you about how your hair looks. But that's just something you have to add to the list of things I have to teach my Black child growing up in America.
Okay, thank you, Desiree. Nicole? Nicole? Nicole, she got
Yes,
her
I'm
mute.
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You're fine. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Okay, so the question is, yes, please.
Okay. How a lot of the articles that I shared were about children, how they were
Yeah.
affected because they chose to wear their hair naturally, the way it grows out of their scalp. What kind of impact do you think that has on a child?
I think that I agree with, and I don't want to start off every answer by saying that I agree with what's already been said, but I actually do. One of the articles that I read where the young lady usually wore her hair in twist or plaits, or she usually wore her hair, up, but she decided to wear it to school loose one day, and the principal made a comment about her hair looking too poofy, too big. Um, and I think that that kind of touches on several aspects of, what we as black women have to deal with.
Right.
Initially, I thought about what, Desiree pointed out that, we have to teach our children, our girls especially, um, to have very high self-esteem. We have to teach our girls to be, to have pride about how they look, how they carry themselves, and especially their hair, and how to deal with those types of situations emotionally.
Mhm.
So I agree with that. But also, when I read the article, I think, the shocking part was that the principal was a black woman. And it just kind of struck me that maybe this black woman, and I don't know how old she was, but maybe this black woman felt that she was actually trying to help this child by telling her, that her hair was not appropriate, um, and that she wanted her to fit in more and not stand out with her hair, looking poofy or what have you.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe that black woman feels that conforming may be better, and that that's something that we should teach black children. Maybe that's something she's had to do. But I think that it has a negative impact. I think that, or especially if children aren't taught, about the system that we live in, I think it has a very negative impact.
Okay. And that's another thing I would like to address as well is um, the I don't know how to say it, but for lack of better words, the self-inflicted um, things that we impose on each other as
Interracial.
right, right. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
As we impose on each other, because one of the articles I think I shared with you guys that I was not able to post within the event page was how this young lady was interning um, here locally in North Carolina at a news station, and one of the newscasters she was interning with basically chastised her because she wore her hair natural. I don't know if that young lady's intentions was to be in front of the camera or behind the scenes or whatever, but that news reporter received a lot of backlash for that because it was a little belittling to the intern when you think in those situations that individual should be more encouraging, and promoting self worth than, like I say, belittling the person. But thank you
I
guys
want to
for
speak
your.
on that.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
on that.
Go ahead.
So I remember a while back you sent me that article, and you kind of had the same sentiment, like she was belittling the girl, or she wasn't really setting a good example. But I think kind
I
of
read
what
the article.
Nicole pointed to, she felt that she was trying to help that girl out, and I've heard
Yeah.
several times like from people in the industry like. I chose to do this, and I would recommend you doing this because this is what you're going to run into. And it's very real, like in that industry, like what do you do with your hair? And I feel like by telling her, by sharing her experience and telling her this is what I think you should do, she was trying to help that girl. I don't think in that situation that woman had issues with like her own self worth or anything like that. Like she was just being real. She was being honest, and like that's just the reality of that's her reality, and she was sharing that with the girl.
Okay.
I actually agree with Desiree. And that's how you say your name, isn't it? It's Desiree, correct? Yes, okay.
Yes, yes.
Uh, I think that, just kind of like I was saying before, that the black principal may have thought she was helping this young lady. I think that as black women, it's a duality. we have to live um, being comfortable being black and comfortable being whatever else we need to be to try and maintain professionalism, in certain workplaces. Um, with the profession that I'm in, I think that it kind of just depends. Therapists are looked at, and depending on where they work, I think that has a lot to do with it. I work for myself at this point, and um, I have less of an issue with how my hair looks. But when I worked at the Pentagon, it was more of an issue with how I dressed and how I looked. My supervisor, tried to restrict a lot of things, and it wasn't just hair. It was tattoos. It was hair color. It was dress. It was, when we would make presentations, she wanted to restrict anything that that type of employee that may have been a very high level employee would disagree with. And so, back to what I'm saying, I think that we realistically we have to look at, the types of fields that we're going in. We have to look at the choices that we're making about our lifestyles early on, until things change. We can continue to make the effort to change things legally, but sometimes it just, you have to go along until you can get in and make a change.
I concur.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Our next question is, what financial impact does natural hair have? Do you
I'm sorry.
think
You said what financial impact?
institutions, what
I'm sorry, say it
financial
again.
and social impact, what financial and social impact does natural hair have?
Oh my goodness.
Okay. What financial and social impact does natural hair have? I would
Yeah.
say a very large impact. I think
Oh my goodness.
I mean, just speaking, black people spend a lot of money on everything, and regardless of whatever it is, anything that we're gonna want, they're gonna make it. And I think, it's a good thing now that they're on the natural hair. It's about the money, the weave, all of that. It's about the money. Okay, come back to me because I have like so many things to say. I should have probably broke this down. And I even got the social, but financially, black people, we spend it all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Candace.
digress. Okay. And I'll come back.
Okay. Desiree is currently on mute.
Social impact. I like to speak on the social impact. I think as a black woman, with natural hair, like you have to think about a lot of things. For instance, I recently had my hair. You have to be very conscious of a lot of things. So, for instance, like I had Marley twists, and I like to wear it all up and tall, right? But I had class. It was like the first day of class, and I like to sit in the front of the class, but I didn't want to like impair somebody's vision. So on my first day of class, I was like, okay, let me not wear my hair. Let me wear it down so it won't like impact people's vision. And I feel like as a black woman with natural hair, like you think about that a lot. Or for instance, when I had my interview for my current job that I have, I was like, do I want to wear a fro with my hair all out, or do I want to slowly like let them transition into my natural hair? And so I had my hair like this. It was twisted, and I had it all pulled back. So like they had no idea what they were gonna get 6 months down the road. But I feel like those are some of the social impacts that having natural hair has. It impacts how you interact with people, how you wear your hair to different events.
Okay, thank you, Desiree. Nicole?
Wow. This is such a loaded question. Um,
Yes.
so socially, um, I think that I think the fact that we have to think about what we're gonna do with our hair before we go to work or before we go to the store or before we go anywhere is an issue in itself.
Right.
The social impact that it has usually is on us, aside from someone else being offended or feeling like, they need to come up and talk to you about your hair or want to touch your hair or, sometimes it brings some social inappropriate behaviors from other people. But I think the biggest impact that it has is on us. The fact that we have to put so much thought and work into just being who we are when other cultures, and some other cultures may have to be more mindful as well. But if there was a white young lady in class and she had a ponytail with a lot of hair, I'm sure she probably wouldn't worry about whether she sat in the front of the class or, stood in the front or wherever, because that's not a part of their, daily life. Um, so that's, my standpoint socially. But financially, I don't know if people looked at the movie that Chris Rock did about hair. I think that, did you guys look at it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
Of
absolutely loved
course,
that
like
movie.
I loved it.
Yes. I think that people thought, that it was going to be a joke. And I mean, Chris Rock was true to his comedy, of course, but it made some very valid points. Financially, we are supplying other people with college educations, homes,
You
cars.
better preach.
Uh, we are supplying
Sorry.
people with
Let me put you
great
mute.
business, financial wealth, in the community. And I think at this point, especially since we're bringing in the whole glam thing that's going on right
Mhm.
now with the $300 weaves and we're going to buy their hair, but it's not going to be probably from a black company or a black distributor. The makeup, the over doing of all of that financially has a very big impact, but it's very limited in terms of it coming into the black community. Black women doing weave, okay, that's the one part of it, but the rest of the thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars are going outside of our community. So it has a very negative impact on us financially and a great impact on others and their businesses. A lot of the natural hair products that aren't good for our hair are not made by black companies. They're made by white companies, and they package
You
them
better
up to
preach.
look like
Sorry.
it's a black product. So financially, we are devastating ourselves. And I guess I'm done.
Preach.
Girl, you was
She really
preaching. You
preaching.
could have kept on going.
Honey, I'm over here about to do a little shout in a minute. But she was so right. She's,
it's
she's so right.
it's just
And
very
maybe it's the reason I'm
frustrating.
so passionate about it because I have a hair business and that I know I'm a struggling, tiny, eensy, weensy, a little bit in this big billion-dollar hair industry. And you know what? Ain't no one that is African American. Bonner Brothers is black. I'll give them that, but they got 100 chemicals in their stuff. Can y'all
Yeah,
hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Bonner Brothers has
Yeah,
100
we hear
chemicals
you.
in it. And then again, if we're teaching a healthy, natural way to love our hair and let it just do as it does, we don't need
right.
that stuff. But they don't care about our hair down to the cells. They don't care about the protein if it breaks or not. They want our money. And in the end, our hair's going to break off. We're going to keep buying their stuff, and they're going to get richer our hair's gonna lose the health that it had in the beginning from using their products. It's just a cycle. Okay, I'm gonna bite my lip now because I don't want to take away the whole set. It's 8:46. I know we got a little bit of time, but that was a huge question. We might just have a whole session about that question in particular because there's so much that needs to be addressed with all these other cultures capitalizing on our people. And it's sad that our people don't have a problem with going to such and such or Tommy Hilfiger or whatever, but when it comes to us, they don't really want to spend that money. We have to consciously, as black people, spend our money with black people to lift our race. It may not happen overnight, but we need to be putting money into those different areas to grow our race in due time. Okay, I'm going to let it go. Okay. Sorry.
You fine, Candace. You fine, Candace. And that's a great, I know. And that's a great idea. I think that is another conversation that we should have. I agree. And maybe that'll be our next Google Hangout topic. Because I agree with what everyone said. Very great valid points. Okay, ladies, we're coming to the end of our hour. And here is our last question. What's your forecast for the natural hair movement impact? What's your forecast for the natural hair movement? Where do you see it going?
Okay, I apologize. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I think it's going nowhere but up. I think, pardon me, because I'm totally walking and my office is full of people and I don't want to be rude. Okay. I think that it's going nowhere but up. I don't think that people are going to start hating their race all of a sudden. I think that we're very well on social media, very well on TV. Yes, they show us what we want to see, but I think that we can kind of determine what we want to watch and we want to watch a show with black kids or, whatever. And I think that, black people aren't going nowhere no time soon. And I think that it's going to stay. I don't think it's going to be like a thing where people aren't wearing their afros. I think that, honestly, people are loving themselves, loving their hair, loving what God gave them. And I don't feel like it was like this years ago. Even for the people that have been natural for 10, 15, 20 years, they may have loved themselves, but I think it's like a domino effect. You're around people that love themselves, you love yourself, and I think that if we just continue to embrace one another in these communities and this forum that we're in now, I think that, again, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay.
That's right.
Where is the natural hair movement going? Is that what you said? What you asked?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I definitely see a lot of. I was talking about commercialization of the movement. I definitely see a lot more hair companies harping onto it. Hopefully, Apple will include an Afro emoji of some kind sooner or later. I'm going to keep that into existence. I hope that happens soon.
Why don't you create it?
Why don't I create? Because I'm lazy and I don't feel like doing the research into how you do that. I probably have to work at Apple in order to do that.
So you done? You just want an emoji?
Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, she's on mute again.
What's the last thing y'all heard me say?
There we go.
You said you want Apple to create an Afro emoji.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing. Or someone with hair.
That's all I have to add, really.
But what do you, Dove have natural curly hair emojis. What do you think about those emojis?
That goes back into my commercialization statement and people hopping onto the movement. Yes, they do have emojis, but it's not incorporated into the actual emoji keyboard. I'm talking about an emoji where you don't have to download a separate app and copy and paste like emoji. Like I'm talking about right there in there. Apple recently did an update where they included black faces.
Black hands.
So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the natural hair
Yes.
thing to happen. And also I want, this is a tangent, but I also want a black couple, because right now they got a little yellow couple on there, and I'm waiting for a
Yeah.
black couple. Okay,
That
I'm
would be
done.
nice.
I'm done.
I think that, and I think it's a very valid point. Am I on here? Okay, I think it's
Yeah.
a valid point because honestly, if you looked around Christmas time, Apple was spending that money with Stevie Wonder and Rihanna. They're singing around the Christmas tree.
Oh
I
my
said, look at them
goodness.
trying
I'm
to get these
sorry.
black people on there. They playing and Christmas time, some little kid running by without no teeth. It's like it was really, but I, that's time to try to reach out. I think it would be great for business. They're getting black people. Can you guys not hear me? Oh God. Oh my God. Hello.
Okay. Oh, you're here. You broke up on us, but Nicole's
my
going to respond.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I think my Apple device got mixed up. I apologize.
Okay. Fine. Nicole, you can
Hear that?
Yes, we heard it.
we heard it. We heard it.
Tanya, your question was, do I think that black hair will continue to what?
My question was, hey, Candace,
Yes.
Desiree, can somebody mute? Because I hear
Oh,
a lot of background noise. Thank you. Okay. My question was, what's your forecast for the natural hair movement? Where do you see the natural hair movement?
Yeah,
5 years from now, 10 years from now.
I think because of the younger generation, I think it'll keep growing because back in the 80s people were wearing the braids. But the style of the braids has just changed. So, I think that the short haircuts with the natural hair, like I think it'll just continue to grow. Yeah, I think that it'll just really continue to grow because the funny thing, because you mentioned people who've been wearing their hair, I think Candace mentioned that, like I've had my hair natural since probably 1999. And it all started out very simply because I got pregnant and I didn't want to put chemicals in my hair.
Okay.
And since then, I've just kind of grown into wearing it and not caring whether other people were comfortable, but I was comfortable. I loved my hair, I like how it looked. And I think that the more that we keep wearing natural hair, the more that people will feel comfortable and make the transition. But the biggest thing that's really going to have to happen is that people are going to have to really look at laws, because everybody has a dress code, and that's kind of like a more of a major thing. You may like to wear your hair natural, but if the job where you work doesn't it's not okay because of the dress code. So I think that we really have to look at laws to help keep people doing what's natural for them.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
And that was our last question. So before we end, we have 5 minutes. So before we end the broadcast, I'm going to let everybody share their social media links. And also, Candace wants to give away a T-shirt, a God's Giving T-shirt. You see, she got on the T-shirt to our viewers, and in order to enter to win that T-shirt, you need to go on Twitter if you have a Twitter account and use the hashtags JustHair, the ones I shared earlier, and add the hashtag God's Goodies, GODS GOODIES, on Twitter, and by sharing those hashtags, you will be entered into the giveaway contest that Candace is hosting. So Candace, go ahead and share your social media links where people can find you, your online store, and
absolutely. I thank you. Okay, I'm Candace Jones, obviously the owner of God's Goodies. I can be reached. The website is grownbygod.com. Just don't be alarmed. It's going through some cosmetic changes. It should be up probably, I'm hoping, tomorrow afternoon. I'm able to be reached on Instagram at grown_by_God. Twitter is grown by God, one word. On Facebook, we're God's Goodies. We're on Pinterest. We're on LinkedIn. We're on everything. But thanks for the opportunity, as always.
Okay. And go ahead and mute yourself, Candace, and Desiree, your turn.
Sorry.
Okay.
So I run a blog. It's called MediaWhistle.com, and basically I just blog about minority representation in the media. If I see something I'm like, good job. I see something I don't like, I'm like, no, I need to be better. So I am at Media Whistle on Twitter. We have a Facebook page. It's called Media Whistle blog. And then, again, my website is MediaWhistle.com.
Okay, thank you, Desiree. And you gotta put yourself on mute, and Nicole.
Yes, my website is www.familyfirstpsych.com, and psych is PSYCH. I'm also on Facebook, and if you just look up familyfirstpsych.com or Family First Psych under Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Everything is under Family First Psych, psychotherapy services. I'm available. But I just want to put one little thing in here. Candace was saying that Stevie Wonder made a video with Rihanna over the Christmas break. The young lady's name was Audra. I think it was Andra Day. And the reason that I'm pointing this out is because sometimes I wonder about Rihanna's class. And the young lady that sung with Stevie Wonder seems to have so much class, and I love her voice. So I just wanted to make sure that we made a distinction between Rihanna and this young lady. No offense to Rihanna, but in terms of that wasn't Rihanna. Her name was her last name is Day. And I think it's Audra Day.
Audra Day. I heard a lot of her music. I guess that is her voice, Audra Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, when it comes to just being classy, it looks like she's a little in a different area. And so, as much as I, have heard some of Rihanna's music, I'm just, wondering about the whole class thing there with Rihanna. And we've actually, that's another subject too. How we're portraying the media, but I just want to put that out there.
Okay, and Nicole, do you have access to the chat? Can you see the chat? Can you view the chat?
Can I see the chat?
Yeah, where people are chatting. And
we're still on live?
Yeah, we're still live. I didn't know if you could see it because someone requested your link.
I can see. Okay, yeah.
Okay, can you type in
some questions?
Okay, can you type request in? Yeah, the links to your site. Somebody just asked, can Nicole share the links to her site, and everybody else as well. If you would like to type in the links to your site, you're welcome to. But somebody just asked for Nicole to share her links to her website. And I am Tanya Cross. I don't even know if I introduced myself initially. I apologize, but my name is Tanya Cross. I have been the conversation moderator this evening. I am an administrator at Accent Glory Naturals, which is a natural hair group that I love and enjoy. And we share some great content over there beyond hairstyles and hair care. We talk about natural hair news, natural hair business, natural hair humor, the natural hair culture in general. And we host in-person and online events like this. I am also the accent designer at Accent and Glory Naturals. I mean, not Accent and Glory, I'm sorry, which is a natural hair care, natural hair accessory line for women, and that's why I was in that.
Yeah.
I was talking about supporting black businesses because I personally know the challenges that small black business owners are faced with when they have a brand and building a brand. So that's who I am. And I just want to thank everybody. We went a little over. It's 9:02. But I would just like to thank our panel for joining and providing such great information. And just say thank you, ladies. Did anybody have any other burning thing they'd like to say before we end the broadcast? Anybody?
Cheesecake says hi.
Hey, Cheesecake. How are you? That's a race dog. But thank you, ladies. If anybody have any suggestions, any of our viewers have any suggestions of other topics you would like for us to discuss, or conversation you'd like for us to have, please comment in the comments and let us know. And also, Nicole didn't say this, but for those married couples, February is coming up, and she normally, I'm going to put her on the spot, she normally does a challenge throughout the year for couples, and my husband and I always accept Nicole's challenges. So be sure to follow her and participate in the February challenge for couples. Okay.
Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. But good night, guys, and thank y'all very much.
Good night, ladies, and thank you for having me.
Okay. Y'all take care. Bye.
Y'all can't with that snow. I know in Maryland it's pretty bad, and I know down there where you are, Tanya. Are you in the same? Is Desi in the same state with you?
Yeah, we're in North Carolina. Yeah.
Yes. Y'all just please bundle up. That snow ain't no joke.
I know.
Thank you
I know.
for having me.
Okay, and don't forget to enter, for our viewers, don't forget to enter the contest, Candace contest, the giveaway.
Yes, look at the shirt. It is a logo on the front, and it is actually a ruler on the back. But you know where the hang time is. And I have all kind of sizes. It's not actually this shirt, because this is mine, but I have all sizes.
Okay, great. Good night, ladies. Thank you again.
Good night. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Good night.